Welcome into Summers Gymnasium for your contest tonight between the Bryan College Lions and the Montreat College Cavaliers. We're about to get ready for tip-off as Bryan will take possession to start this game, and Molly Brown's going to take the ball down the court, try to get things going for the Lions. Inside to Kaylin Walls and missed that layup. Little scramble for the rebound, and the ball is loose, recovered by Autumn Davis. Davis in, and she will miss that one. Katie Farrell with a temporary rebound, but I think it bounced off her foot to go out of bounds. On the court for the Lions, we got Kaylin Walls, Katie Farrell, Molly Brown, Alyssa Petty, and Autumn Davis as they bring their full court press right from the get-go. And Montreat's going to have to deal with it, and they deal with it well on that one as they get the ball across half court. Montreat driving in, pass it out to Ella Kate Walraven, who takes a three, misses that one. Rebound, Autumn Davis. Davis going to try to set things up. She gets into Katie Farrell. Farrell bounces it back out to Alyssa Petty, who looks like she stepped on the line right by the Cavaliers bench. And so it'll be a turnover. And that is what happened because they're going to inbound it right there in front of their bench. Lions come into this contest with an overall record of 20-6, 17-2 in conference. Montreat comes in with an overall record of 9-15, 7-11 in conference. As that ball is easily handled underneath the basket, and 2 points for the Cavs. So they get things going quickly, and they're going to bring a full court press of their own, see if they can go match for match with the Lions as they get down to Alyssa Petty, who comes in, misses that layup, rebounds her own shot, back up and makes it, goes to the floor, but no call there. Gets back up and gets back to this press, and that's what the press will do. Katie Farrell with the steal, misses that layup and inbound. So Alyssa Petty with another second chance conversion. We've missed a few layups into this game so far, probably about the fourth one that I can see, and so, but we are having a lot of possession, and right back at like our normal play is getting turnovers, creating turnovers, getting second chances. That's how we're winning games, and Alyssa Petty will be on the line trying to make it a three-point conversion here. And she will. So 5-2 Lions early, as Montreat breaks the press again, but then passes a little tipped by Walls, but recovered by Montreat. Now the ball's loose, still recovered by Montreat, finds a person underneath and converts on that layup. So 2 points for the Cavs as Bryan is going quickly down the court, trying to get a high pace here, and that ball they look like it could have been blocked, but they do call a foul. I can understand Montreat being a little bit upset about that one. So that foul is going to be on the shot. It's going to send Kaylin Walls to the line. The Lions trying to fight for positioning in the conference tournament. This is the last game of the regular season for Bryan, and they are sitting at second in the conference at 17-2. Milligan's ahead of them at 16-1. Reinhardt's right behind them at 16-2. Some games left to be played for the other programs as Walls will convert on both. But the Lions trying to win this one and hope to get a 1 seed for the tournament starting next Wednesday, and that's going to be a foul, and looks like Petty. Petty and Davis were right next to her, and I think they're going to call it on number 6. Inside number 21, Sarah Williams with the ball, and that's going to be a turnover. Alyssa Petty comes up with that one. So hands it off the Walls to bring it up the court. 7-4 Lions, 7:40 remaining. Outside to Autumn Davis. Davis back to Petty, trying to find Farrell underneath, and they do. She's going to try to work her way toward the goal, and that's going to be blocked. Down the court quickly is Montreat, and they're finding girls underneath the basket, and it seems to consistently be Tresslyn Roberts. That's going to be inside the Walls. Walls is going to go up, and that one's going to be converted, so she'll make that. Looks like a little bit of a stutter step, but no call there. Shot by number 12, Ramaya Sanders. No good. Rebounded Cavs. Sanders is going to back it back out, and this time take it from 3, and this time she'll hit. So second point chance, and she does it herself. Ball kind of being passed across court here a couple times. Some risky passes. That's going to be a 3-point attempt by Walls. No good. Rebounded Farrell. Farrell underneath the basket, and that's good. So good conversion there is 11-10. Bryan is the lead. Down court quickly for the Cavs, and they're going to miss that shot. That was Ella Kate Walraven out to Walls. Walls is going to drive it, but bring it back out. Petty thought about the 3. She's going to go inside, and that's going to be a foul on Petty as she goes down to the court again. Full throttle Alyssa Petty, and she's going to be back at the line again now. And we're going to have a line change as we do for the Lions. Very common to see this. Coming in, it looks like we got Ellie Graham. It looks like we got, let's see, Sydney Neal is in there. Brittany Morrow. Ashlyn Crittenden. No, Ashlyn Plott, excuse me. It's nothing but ponytails over numbers right now, and I'm having a little trouble. So I'll get the hang of it as Petty misses first shot. Leah Stinnett also on the court for the Lions. And now Alyssa Petty will come off the court after making her second free throw for Ruby Cox. And those fresh legs are going to get the press in action again, trying to stay energetic on the Montreat side of the court. With long-range jumper and good. And that was Sarah Williams on the conversion there for the Cavs. 12-11 Bryan. Sydney Neal with the ball. Trying to find an open Lion. She finds Ruby Cox. Back up to Stinnett up top. Got Plott into Ruby Cox, and she's going to turn, but no good. Rebound Cavs. Quickly down the court. Tipped and recovered by the Lions. That's Ashlyn Plott, and she's going to drive it but bring it back out to the three-point line. Inside Ellie Graham. Graham no good on the layup. Anaya Sands doing the ball handling down the court for the Cavs. That's going to be a foul. It's going to be a foul on Leah Stinnett, as we'll see some subs come in for the Cavaliers. And that's going to bring us to our first timeout. So with 4:55 remaining in the first period, it is 12-11 Lions, and we'll be right back on Lions Live. Back in action here in Summers Gymnasium, and it's going to be the Cavaliers doing the inbounding. Layla Harvey will handle the ball for Montreat. She's going to go out to the three-point line to Sanaya Camper, who misses that one, rebounded by Ruby Cox, and gives it off to Stinnett to take it down the court. Cox looks like she took an elbow or a hand to the face, but she's recovered and back at it, and that's going to be a foul on Stinnett as she goes in for the underhand layup. So that's going to put her on the line. Lions struggling a little bit inside the paint tonight, having trouble converting on some closer shots. And surely that is something they can come around, and they're getting the looks. They're just not being able to convert as Stinnett misses her first. This is one of those games that is last game of the season. You got conference tournament is your next opponent, and it could be easy to overlook it. Now, like I said, the Lions are fighting for a 1 seed, certainly still fighting for a 2 seed, so they definitely want that positive seeding. That's something to play for, but to know you're one of the top seeds in the conference tournament, as that will be a jump ball, and it will be a possession of the Cavs. To know you've kind of got one of those top seeds locked in, this could be, as they say, a trap game. And so far, not playing their best brand of basketball. And that's going to be a turnover. That's recovered by Ashlyn Plott. She's going to take it down the court. Finds Ellie Graham underneath. No good. That looks like it was tipped a little bit. That's going to be recovered by the Cavs, Layla Harvey, and she's going to bring it down. 3-point attempt, and off the backboard. She didn't call it, but she made it. And Ellie Graham's going to try to respond with this group as we see this starting 5 lining up by the bench trying to get them an opportunity to be back on. If that's going to be a turnover, and that's going to be coast to coast for the Cavs. Ramaya Sanders steals and converts. And the Lions, and that was a wild pass, but works. And that's 3-point attempt, no good. Rebound the Lions, still no good. We got a body on the floor. That was Stinnett, and no foul call. A little bit surprising on that. But plays happening so quickly, I think the refs miss it as Sanders hits another one. Another 3 for the Cavs, and it's all momentum Montreat as we go into another timeout. This time, Montreat leading 19-13. We'll be back on Lions Live. Back in action, Summers Gymnasium. Katie Farrell is going to be doing the inbounding for the Lions as they will take possession down by 6 in this first period, as Montreat has had a lot of momentum going for them for back-to-back three-pointers by Ramaya Sanders. Katie Farrell inside to Kaylin Walls. The starting 5 back on the court, and this time, great conversion. It looked like another possible foul, but to the point of the refs, they're letting them play right now, and I don't hate that. And that's going to be Sanders back down again. She is on fire, but this time she gives off the ball to Camper. It's going to be 3-point attempt by DeJust. No good. Rebounded Walls out to Molly Brown. Like to see Molly Brown kind of take control of this game. Lions leading scorer. Katie Farrell inside. No good there. A lot of body bumping around underneath the goal. And that's going to be another turnover recovered by Alyssa Petty and a tipped out of bounds by Ayana Varela, and it's going to be Brian Ball. So a lot of back and forth. All 10 players on the court trying to attack the basketball. I think Montreat comes in knowing that turnovers are the Lions' game, and they're trying to match them, and so far done a very good job. Molly Brown with a fadeaway shot. Unbelievable, Molly Brown. When she can hit, she can hit. That was a tough, tough shot that she converts on. And the Lions' leading scorer does it. That's going to be inside, and Sanders converts on that layup. And she's all over the court for the Cavs. Ramaya Sanders, the leading scorer for the Cavs. If they can stop her, they can do a lot of damage. 17.2 points per game for Sanders. Right behind her, Sarah Williams of 15.6. It kind of spreads out after that and trickles down. Lions are a little bit different. They're spread out more from the top as Autumn Davis goes underneath the Kaylin Walls. Walls inside to Farrell. She's going to try to turn, and that's, I'll tell you this, they're just not calling fouls. They're just not calling fouls on that. And I refuse to believe that every time Farrell has turned and spun and shot that she's just lost control of the ball, but that is what it is right now. Autumn Davis with the inbound to Molly Brown. Thought about the three, is going to drive inside. Now looking for an open Lion. Finds Kaylin Walls out to Alyssa Petty. Petty drives, 6 on the shot clock, and then finally a foul on Petty, so she'll go back to the line. She's the only one that's been to the line for the Lions. But back to what I was saying about the scoring, Molly Brown does lead the Lions with 12.5 points per game. After that, incredibly spread out. You got Petty with 9, Farrell with 7, Walls with 6, and then it just kind of stays at that 6-5 range on down the roster as Petty misses her first. Montreat's a little bit more top-heavy. Once you get Sanders and Williams, you got Bailey Winkler with 9.5, and then the next closest averages about 4 points per game. So you really got 2.5, 3 Cavs to stop, and if you can control them. So far, we have not been able to control them. As that ball is thrown and recovered by the Lions, going to be Petty going down the court. She's going to take it all the way. No good. No call again. Cavs taking it on the court. That's Sands. Sands going to drive all the way, underhanded layup, and that's good. And the Cavs are hitting their shots tonight from long range and from underneath. Lions giving them a little bit of cushion and finding them open underneath the basket. Strategy not exactly what they want right now, and that's going to be a turnover, as that's going to wind up in the hands of a Cav, and then Ayana Varela with the conversion there. So tons of momentum going. Coach Matt Ballant's going to try the other 5. The third 5 has not been on the court yet. And that's going to be a turnover again by the Lions. And so the next 5 is back out, the same second rotation that we saw earlier. Partly just to mix things up, partly to get fresh legs and energy out there on the floor. And that's what they're showing, is this full court press that the Cavs were able to break early, and they break that one again, but with a little bit more struggle to it. That's going to be almost tipped, but that's going to be outside to number 23, Sanaya Camper, who misses that three-point, recovered by Ellie Graham. Down to Ashlyn Plott. Plott out to Neal. Inside to Graham. Graham with the shot, and good. So as the first period winds down, the Lions do get a couple points on the board, but we will end the first with the Lions trailing 19-25. Unfamiliar territory for the Bryan Lions, as usually they jump out to a big lead and then kind of play a little bit of a softer third period. Traditionally, right now, we're hoping it's a very, very strong second and third and fourth period for the Lions. But for now, we will be right back with the second period on Lions Live. Back in action to start the second period is Sydney Neal inbounds to Leah Stinnett, trying to get something going as the Lions trail by 6. I don't have the stat in front of me, but I don't remember the last time the Lions trailed after the first period, especially here at home, as that ball's thrown out of bounds. And the Lions' woes continue as they press a little bit too much, trying to get something to happen. I think if they just play their game, they are good enough to beat this team. And that ball is tipped. One thing the Lions do very well is play mid-court and back-court defense. They're struggling right now a little bit under their own basket, but they can create turnovers, and they did just that as Leah Stinnett tries to orchestrate some points on the board for the ladies. Ellie Graham at the top of the key. That's going to be a three-point attempt by Plott. No good. Rebounded Lions. Sydney Neal comes up with it. Neal back to Graham. Graham's going to fumble it a little bit, and it's going to be a turnover again. So battle the turnovers so far as both teams playing good defense. And Montreat's going to hit the ball off her own leg, and that's going to be a turnover themselves. That's the story of the game so far. That and some clutch shots hit by the Cavaliers. Leah Stinnett with the ball. Drives in. Looks like she wants to take it herself. She does. A contested short-range little kind of runner there. And I will say that in the past, whether the officials are calling it or not, doesn't matter. It is what it is. But in the past, we have gotten a lot of calls that we're not getting today. And it seems to be part of the Lions game that they're not getting. And so they're going to have to adjust and adapt and figure out how to be successful, even though that part of their game doesn't seem to be here today. As Sarah Williams will inbound to Layla Harvey. And that's going to be a foul on Ellie Graham. It looked like just that was a foul on Stinnett, I was told. I thought Ellie Graham was right next to her. It may have been an off-the-ball foul because Ellie Graham was guarding the ball. And that's going to be tipped by Plott. Out of bounds, going to retain Montreat ball. 8:35 here remaining in the half. Cross-court pass out to Sanders, back out to Harvey. Harvey back to Sanders. Sanders going to take the three. No good on that one. Recovered by the Cavs and blocked by Ruby Cox, but out of bounds. It'll be still Cavs ball, and to the referee's point, no foul on that one. So as long as it's happening on both sides of the court, I guess I'm good with it. Harvey inbounds across court. That's going to be stolen and recovered by Plott. Plott down to Neal. Neal underneath with the short jumper. Missed that one. Recovered, rebounded by the Cavs. Harvey with the ball. Out to Sanders. Tipped around. It's going to be a fight for the ball. Sydney Neal comes up with it. And they're going to call a foul on Sanders. Leah Stinnett takes command. Outside to Neal. Neal drives in. Ellie Graham. Graham out to Plott. Plott over to Cox. Cox into Graham. And they do call a foul. It looks like on Ramiah Sanders. I will tell you this. The Montreat Cavs are playing tight defense. I am impressed with the way they're playing defense right now. They're not giving an inch or any breaths to the Bryan Lions, as that one is almost thrown away, but recovered by Plott. It's going to be Stinnett with the spin inside. 2 men on her, and there's going to be a whistle blown. The Cavs are clapping, so I'm not sure what it's going to be on. It may have been a traveling call, although I didn't see a traveling signal. But she tried to go underneath. as that double team. Every time we go into the basket, the Cavs have 2 players double teaming whoever's trying to make the close shot. And that strategy is working well so far. Harvey with the ball out near midcourt. It's going to be stolen by Stinnett as she just pickpockets Harvey, and she's going to go in and get fouled from behind by Harvey on the shot, so she'll go to the line. 5 fouls already in this period. 7 minutes remaining in the half. As the Cavs sub out Ella Kate Walraven for it looks like Trinity DeJust. First shot made by Stinnett. And she'll hit them both. That was much needed for the Lions. That'll bring it to a 4-point deficit so far. And they're going to see if this press can create a little bit more havoc for the Cavs. Cavs slow getting it back across half court. They got to hurry, and they do finally, and it's a collision midcourt between Ruby Cox and Ramaya Sanders. And Cox was just going for the ball, but she ran smack into her. So that's going to be a foul on Cox. And we're going to see a new line for the Lions. It'll return to the first rotation that we saw of Davis, Farrell, Walls, Petty, and Brown. That's going to be a travel by Harvey as she was backing up a little bit when she caught that ball. So needed turnover for the Lions right there. Autumn Davis with the handles. She's going to have a lane, and she's going to convert as she does what she does, is drive in and make a layup, that time uncontested. The first uncontested layup of the night for the Lions. Miscommunication. That's going to be a three-point attempt by DeJust and missed. Rebounded Walls and then turned over. Short jumper, no good for the Cavs. Molly Brown will come up with it after the Farrell rebound, and she's going to try to drive, and unbelievable. I'll tell you this. Sometimes you take shots, and as soon as the ball leaves their hand, you go, what kind of shot was that? But I will never say that for Molly Brown because she can make anything. It doesn't matter what it looks like. She has a great feel for the hoop. And that's going to be a turnover, Cavs. So momentum swinging a little bit toward the Lions, 25-25, tie ball game. You know, it's one of those things where I've watched every home game for the Lions from the booth, and you always kind of go, well, they're a great team, and they're going to come back and take control of this game. And they have tied it up, but there is something about the way this Montreat team is playing right now that I can tell it's going to be a struggle to the end. Molly Brown with the short jump shot, no good, rebounded Cavs, and it's going to be down court. It's going to be a one-on-one, and blocked by Alyssa Petty, but blocked out of bounds as Varela tries to go up for that. No, that was Sanders. Sanders tries to go up, and Petty knocks it out of bounds. So great effort and great hustle by Alyssa Petty. Montreat will inbound from underneath their own basket, and that's going to be off. Looks like they're a foot of maybe Kaylin Walls, so they'll do it again. And they're going to switch out the inbounder for Maya Sanders. They probably have some sort of play going right here that they're trying to convert. But inbound into Camper. Back out to Sanders. Sanders is going to drive. Short runner, no good. Rebounded Lions, Petty. Slowing it down, Molly Brown out to Walls, then into Davis. Inside to Farrell, and Farrell does make that one and then calls a foul on a shot that I didn't even see a foul on. So maybe making up for lost time here, but Farrell converts, and she's going to go for the three-point attempt from the line. And the Lions have their first lead in a while since fairly early in the first period. As Farrell misses that free throw attempt, rebounded, but on the floor is Montreat. Now there's going to be a scramble for the ball, and the Lions do come up with it outside to Molly Brown. Thought about the three, but gives it inside, finds its way out to Petty. Petty's going to drive, no good, and another foul called. So Petty on the floor again. She goes so hard, she ends up on the floor quite frequently, and this time she's going to go from the floor to the free throw line. Normally a tremendous free throw shooter is number 6. Had a little bit of struggles today as they're going to have to wipe some sweat off the court, and there's going to be a timeout called, maybe a media one. And we will be right back with the Lions leading 27-25 with Alyssa Petty shooting 2 on Lions Live. Back in action, and before Petty takes these shots, we're going to take a moment to thank our sponsors, BTC Fiber out of Bledsoe County, the Wright brothers, El Toro, Mexican restaurant here in Dayton, and Dayton Ford. I know at last game, my colleague Jordan Day talked a lot about Curtis Bowery at Dayton Ford. I'll tell you this, you can't find a more trustworthy car salesman or probably just human in general than Curtis Bowery. If you need a vehicle, absolutely go to Curtis Bowery at Dayton Ford, as Alyssa Petty converts on her first and the second to extend that lead, much needed, to 4 for the Lions. 5 minutes remaining in the half, 29-25. Bryan leads. Montreat crossing half court, but still finding a lot of pressure from the Lions. They do create a turnover, and this is back to more Bryan Lions basketball as they're, again, wrecking havoc on the defensive side of the ball. And some points right here will keep that momentum going as Autumn Davis drives in, tipped and out of bounds by the Cavs. So Davis will do the inbounding. Finds Molly Brown open for 3. Takes a shot. Yes, sir. Molly Brown from downtown. And swinging that momentum the Lions' direction as they're going to try to create another turnover. That's their goal, I think, especially after they hit a shot. They're going to find an open Sanders, but she passes it off up the key, and that's going to be tipped out of bounds by Katie Farrell. Still Montreat ball. This feels like one of those games Molly Brown could absolutely take over, as everything she's hitting is good, but the Cavs convert on that one. That was Sarah Williams from underneath. Williams, that second threat in the Sanders-Williams, Molly Brown again. It is almost like foreshadowing. It's almost like I knew it. With the three-pointer from the top of the key. And the steal by Autumn Davis. They're going to call a foul from a ghost person who tripped Sarah Williams, as Autumn Davis just got all ball in the interception. No pass interference there, but it was called. 35-27 Lions. And Sarah Williams will go to the line for the Cavs, as this student section is loud and beating on those seats right now as Williams converts on her first. Love the energy right in front of our booth from the student section right now. Some other sports are still playing and practicing right now, so gym's not completely full, but I expect they'll trickle in when practice is over as Williams converts on both her free throw attempts. And Molly Brown, for all I care, can take a shot from half court. And she does almost and misses that one. But keep on shooting, girl. Rebounded Cavs. That's going to be inside to Williams. Williams with the runner, no good. Tipped, recovered by the Cavs, but turned over immediately. That's Katie Farrell on the steal. Farrell driving down, passes out to Autumn Davis, who shoots the three and makes that one. Autumn Davis, not even her game, but she was feeling it. She took it and hit it. 38-29, Lions' biggest lead of the day, and that's going to be a foul by Davis as she tripped her and took her shoe off, blew a tire about half court. Inadvertent, but still a foul. And now the Cavs are going to have to take a timeout to get things going, and we will be right back on Lions Live. Back at Summers Gymnasium, and we're going to be shooting a two. We're going to be shooting two. Maybe I need to brush up on my basketball rules. I thought this would be a 1-and-1 right there, and she's going to miss them both. That was Anaya Sands. Ellie Graham's going to take it down court as the second rotation is in for the Lions. Inside to Ruby Cox. She's going to have to fight for the ball, and it's going to be recovered by the Cavs. Hands it off to Sands. Outside, three-point range, and over to Sanders. Sanders into Sarah Williams. Outside three-point shot, no good, missed. That was Trinity DeJust, but recovered by the Cavs. Williams up with the ball. She's going to take her own three, and this time in and out, and recovered by Ellie Graham. Graham's going to give it out to Plott. Plott over to Stinnett. Stinnett over to Neal. We got Ellie Graham down inside as Neal comes in with a fancy underhand layup. Excuse me, as Ruby Cox on the ground, but Neal jumped right over her and converted that beautiful layup to extend the Lions' lead, and that's going to be blocked. I didn't see who blocked it. It may have been Ruby Cox. That's going to be coming up with Stinnett over to Neal. Neal's going to slow it down a little bit as she tries to find an open Lion. Inside off a leg, and so that's going to be a kick ball. The one thing, and now we have Olivia Hall coming in for Ruby Cox. One thing about this Montreat team, there's a couple of subs coming in and out, but what you're seeing is consistently is some of the girls started out by Ramaya Sanders. Sanders, Williams, Sands, those girls don't really leave the court much, and at some point you got to wonder if they're going to kind of wear down. I guess they've been doing it all year, so maybe not. Ellie Graham with the three-point attempt, no good, recovered by the Cavs. And if I had someone averaging 17 and 15 a game, I'd probably keep them in the whole time too. Although certainly girls like Molly Brown could do that if she stayed in, but that's not Ballant ball. He likes to keep that pressure on with energy. Leah Stinnett inside to Ellie Graham. Looks like it was over the top. No call. That's Olivia Hall with her first shot of the game, and she hits the three-pointer. Great shot by Olivia Hall. And the Lions are finding their rhythm here, and we got a foul. It was either on Graham or Stinnett. They were both right next to the ball handler, Anaya Sands. And she's going to go to the line as she tripped on somebody's feet. Matt Ballant doesn't appreciate the call or agree with it, and I can see how it could be a little bit of a no call there. It looks like she just kind of ran herself into the legs of two Lion defenders. But that's going to be Sands at the line, and she will hit on the first one. 47 seconds left remaining in the half. 43-30 Bryan Lions. This 13-point lead, courtesy of a huge run in this second period, as that one was missed and recovered by Ellie Graham. It's going to give it off to Sydney Neal, who will bring the ball down the court. Neal over to Plott. Plott back out to Hall, trips over a Cavalier's foot, but recovers with the ball outside to Stinnett. 26 seconds remaining. That's going to be a three-point shot by Plott, recovered by Olivia Hall. Hall into Plott. Great ball movement underneath the goal by Ashlyn Plott. Conversion on the layup. Great job, Hall, seeing the underneath Cavalier and underneath line, and the Cavaliers will turn that one over. And the student section is telling them. So 11 seconds remaining. Shot clock's off. 45-30 Lions. Lions should have the last possession as Stinnett kind of slowing this one down the court. Over to Neal. Neal, 4 seconds remaining. Out to Stinnett. Going to have to shoot. 1 second. No, and that's going to be blocked, and Cavaliers recover. So it'll go into halftime with a 15-point lead. 45-30 Lions lead at half. And we will see you back in 15 minutes on Lions Live. And we are back in action here at Summers Gymnasium for this women's basketball contest between the Bryan Lions and the Montreat Cavaliers. It was all Montreat early, playing a great defense, causing a lot of turnovers, and then the Lions hit a stride, and now they lead by 15 going into this second half, as Sands will take the ball for the Cavaliers. Getting outside to Williams. Williams with the three-point shot, no good. Excuse me, that was Sarah Williams. Molly Brown down court. She's going to be fouled as she goes up for the layup attempt. And she will go to the line early. Just 30 seconds off the board here in the second half. Molly Brown, as I had mentioned, averaging 12.5 points a game for the Lions. If she hasn't passed that total by now, she's getting close to it in one half as she misses that first attempt of two. And she will make the second. So make it a 16-point lead for the Lions as they put pressure on the Cavs trying to cross half court. And that's going to be a turnover. That's going to be Alyssa Petty. And that's going to be a miss, but rebounded by Katie Farrell. And up and in, Katie Farrell with a great second attempt. And that's going to be another turnover. Autumn Davis comes up with it. It was a lot of bodies trying to get the ball, and she gives out to Molly Brown, who will take another crazy shot. But as I said, there's nothing she can't make. And that's going to be almost another turnover, but the Cavs do cross half court with it. Driving down the court, there's going to be a miss there. Scramble for the rebound, come up with the Cavs. A second-point chance by the Cavs as they make that one. That was Ella Kate Walraven on the conversion. Brown over to Farrell. Inside the Petty, wide open. Great ball movement, great play right there. As they get, and now a turnover really quickly. Autumn Davis up with it. It's going to be blocked, and she's going to get her own rebound outside to Molly Brown as she comes up with that scramble. She's over to Petty. Outside to Walls. Walls trying to go baseline. It's going to be out of bounds on the Cavs. And the Lions can do so much in such a quick amount of time. They make a shot and then get an immediate turnover, and you got to be on your toes if you're going to keep up with this Lady Lions team when they're playing well. Autumn Davis outside to Katie Farrell, top of the key, inside to Walls. Walls double team, but breaks it and makes the layup attempt. 54-32. And what we may be seeing, as I mentioned, even though we had a halftime break, is that's going to be a foul on the Lions, is maybe a little bit of tired legs by the Cavaliers, keeping that same at least three on the court pretty consistently. And we're going to have Bailey Winkler at the line for the Cavs, shooting two. And she will miss her first. And make her second. 54-33. Davis over to Farrell. Inside the Walls. Walls, no good but fouled. As Walls was kind of wide open underneath the basket, and they had to get to her quickly. And because they did, they just ran into her. And so she's going to have two free throw attempts. And she will make her first of two. And her second. 33-56, biggest lead of the game so far by the Lions, and they will keep the pressure on. A lot of ball movement, but it's all back court so far as they finally do cross court, and that's going to be Walraven inside, no good. Rebounded Molly Brown, and she's going to be down court quick. She bounces it back out to Davis, drives in outside the Walls. Walls over to Davis. Into Petty, and Petty's going to travel. I didn't see it, but they got her for another step as she cuts. So turnover there is going to be inbounded by Sarah Williams, and we're going to see a new 5 on the court that this time includes Olivia Hall, who hit that big 3 in the first half. Got Hall, Ellie Graham, Leah Stinnett, Ashlyn Plott, and Ruby Cox. Excuse me, Sydney Neal is on the court for the Lions, and I don't know who I said instead of her, but it's one of them. I think it's Ruby Cox. That's going to be a mid-range jumper by the Cavs, converted. Olivia Hall will do the ball handling for the Lions. Hall drives, bounces it back out to Stinnett, over to Plott. Plott to Neal in the corner. Neal going inside and just bounces it just off the baseline. So the Cavs will take over. Williams finds Winkler. Winkler drives. She's going to have the layup attempt, but no good. That's going to be recovered briefly by the Cavs, but then stolen by Leah Stinnett. It's going to be over to Sydney Neal, who will take the ball down court and try to be underneath it. The underhand floater, no good. Rebounded Cavs. Williams down the court. And that's going to be a layup attempt by Sanders, and she will make it. Cut into the lead a little bit, 56-37. Olivia Hall over to Neal. Neal back to Hall. Hall finds a seam, goes in, no good. Recovered Ellie Graham, and the second chance attempt by Ellie Graham is good, and that's going to be a timeout taken by the Lions. And so as we go into this timeout with 5:36 remaining, Lions lead 58-37. We'll be right back on Lions Live. .536 remaining in the third period. Cavaliers will inbound. Sarah Williams will do the ball handling, but passes over to Layla Harvey. Back to Williams, trying to cross half court. Almost stolen, but does make it across court. That's Walraven. Out to Sarah Williams, who will attempt the three-pointer. No good. Rebounded, tipped by the Cavs, and out of bounds, so it'll be Lions ball. And this student section is feeling this last home game of the year as they are getting into this game. As Olivia Hall will bring the ball down the court. Out to Leah Stinnett. Send it over to Graham. Back to Stinnett. Outside to Sydney Neal. Three-pointer, good! Sydney Neal with a three-pointer. And our three-point percentage made is solid this game. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I don't remember missing many. And we will have a turnover by the Cavs, so the Lions will take over. But before they take over, we're going to have our first timeout of the third period. 4:46 remaining, back on Lions Live. Back in action here in Summers Gymnasium. It'll be Lions ball. I did just pull up the stats, and the Lions are 5 for 11 from three-point. It felt a little bit better than that, even though that is still a good percentage. But as my colleague just today said, stats don't lie. Sidney Hill takes the ball for the Lions over to Stinnett, back to Neal. Out to Ashton Plott, takes a long three-pointer, and good as it bounces around the rim and finds its way in. So that'll make it 6 for 12. And I think you would take that percentage all day as the Montreat Cavs just throw it out of bounds. And they're feeling the pressure, and that pressure is going to lead to another immediate timeout for the Cavs. They're going to take a 30-second one, so we'll stay right here. Just kind of looking at the stats for the game so far. If you're following along at home, you can see them as well. But field goal percentage, Lions lead 47% to 40. Lions have 6 three-pointers to the Cavs 3, and it's 3 of 14 for the Cavs. They're dead even at assist. Lions just with the edge on rebounds, 27 to 25. But the Lions, this is the big tell right here. 16 steals to the Cavs 6, and I feel like the 6 that the Cavs have had have been good, solid. I would have almost guessed more, but the turnover ratio 24 for the Cavaliers to 12 for the Lions. So Stinnett will inbound to Sidney Neal inside to Ellie Graham. That's going to end up being a jump ball, I believe. Yep, they're going to call it. A little slow on the thumbs for the referee, but it's going to stay Lions ball as they lead 64 to 37. 4 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the third period. Olivia Hall doing the inbounding for the Lions. Outside to Neal. Neal inside to Graham. Graham makes her way to the basket and makes it. Muscles her way down underneath for the field goal. And the Lions with the pressure again, tipped and intercepted. Leah Stinnett comes up with the ball. Pass it over to Olivia Hall. Inside to Graham, trying to do it again. Outside to Plott. Plott with a three-pointer. Yes, and that basket is loving hers. That's the second one that's bounced around a little bit and found its way in. But she's living right because that's 2 three-pointers for her in the last probably minute and a half. Lions trying to go for the steal again as they lead fairly large now, 69-37. Underneath the basket for the Cavs. No good on layup. Rebound, Sidney Neal. And that's going to be, she's going to trip over a Cav. And looks like she's going to have to call a timeout to avoid the either jump ball or turnover. And so this time we will take a break and be right back on Lions Live. Back in action as Sophie McIntroff is in the game, and she will take the ball for the Lions. Got a new set of girls on the court as Ruby Cox joins them. She's been in the game, but Kelsey Johnson with the ball now inside to Cox. Also joining her on the court is Brooklyn Stinnett and Brittany Morrow. Their first action of the game. Right now, Cox is the only one that has had minutes so far in this game. And I'll tell you this is the third line for the Lions, but it's a good group. There's some real shooters in this group. As we've seen, I mean, you can give credit to all of them. I was talking earlier about Brooklyn Stinnett, Kelsey Johnson, their ability to hit three-pointers. Ruby Cox, obviously great underneath. Sophie McIntroff plays an aggressive, hard-nosed game, always sprinting, big hustle from her. And then Brittany Morrow adds a lot to this group as well, as she can shoot her own way down the court. So it's fun as McIntroff takes a three. No good there. Rebounded Cox. Outside to Johnson. Surprised she didn't take that. That's going to be back out to McIntroff. Cox has it outside. Take a long-range jumper. She's going to hit that long two. Good Ruby Cox. But as I was saying, when you have – quote unquote 11 through 15 on the court right now, and they're still a great set of basketball players, that bodes well for your program and for this group, because I got confidence in every single one of these girls to take a shot whenever they find it. As Kelsey Johnson takes the ball from the top of the key over to McIntroff. Drives in, underneath runner, no good. Rebounded Cavs, taken down the court by Sanders. Sanders going to pass it off inside to Roberts, and that's going to be out of bounds. And I think it was tipped by a Lion, so it'll remain Montreat ball. Minute 53 remaining in the third period. 71-37 Lions lead. Trying to get something going for the girls in blue, as that's not going to fall, and rebounded by Morrow. Morrow's going to throw it across court, intercepted by Treslin Roberts. That's going to be a three-point attempt by Sanders. No good. Rebounded Morrow. Finds Brooklyn Stinnett in the corner. Back to Morrow. Back to McIntroff. Has to scramble for that ball. Almost intercepted. And that one's tipped a little bit by Sanders, as she's going to take it all the way down, and no good, and tipped out of bounds. Woo! Looked like it was by Montreat, but they're calling it on Kelsey Johnson, so it'll be Montreat ball. Roberts with the inbound over to Sanders. That's going to be, looks like it was some sort of foul. I guess she pushed her or something on Ruby Cox. That's their second foul of the third period. Sanders with the ball at the top of the key. Long pass over to the corner. That's Williams. Williams back to Sanders. That's the duo for the Cavs, and she's going to be fouled by Cox again. So Cox with all three fouls for the Lions in this third period. And it looks like they're going to call that on the shot, even though I certainly didn't see her shoot. But regardless, Ramaya Sanders will be at the line shooting two, and she makes her first. And her second. Cuts in the lead, 49 seconds remaining in this third period. McIntroff with the ball, a couple of spin moves out to Ruby Cox, takes the three, misses, rebounded Sarah Williams for the Cavs. She's going down court. She looks like she's going to take it herself. Nope, and it's going to be blocked by Cox and recovered by McIntroff. That's going to be a jump ball, and the possession arrow says Montreat, so it'll stay with them. Inbound to Anaya Sands. Sands over to Sanders. Sanders with 14 points this game, about on pace for her season average. She's going to drive, kick it back out to the three-point line, and that's going to be no good on the shot, but recovered by the Cavs. Back out to, it looks like it was Ayana Varela who hits that three-pointer. And then 1 second, McIntroff with the long three, and look at that. Oh, what a shot from nearly half court as McIntroff says, we're not going down with a less of a lead. And she nails that one. So as we go into the fourth period after that beautiful shot by Sophie McIntroff, Lions lead 74-42. Back on Lions Live. Back in action here in Summers Gymnasium as we start this fourth period, and the score on the scoreboard certainly does not reflect how this game started as the Cavaliers jump out to a 25-19 lead after the first period. But you know what? A 26-5 second period will turn the tides in the gym, and then 29-12 in the third period. So Lions have dominated most of this basketball game. We'll turn the ball over there. That's going to be a Varela on the steal. She's going to pass out to Sands. Sands out to, eventually gets out to Sanders. I know her. She's all over the court. That's going to be a three-point attempt by Roberts. Roberts no good. Rebounded by the Cavs. Sanders finds it again. She's going to shoot. No good there. That's going to finally be rebounded by the Lions and Autumn Davis. That first group back on the court for the Lions is Kaylin Walls has the ball here over to Katie Farrell. Farrell drives out to an open Alyssa Petty, but she decides to do some fancy footwork. Can't convert on that, but recovered by Walls. And that's going to end up being Lions ball as the Cavs try to save it from going out of bounds and hit it off Kaylin Wall's leg. So Lions will take over at the baseline. Molly Brown's going to do some inbound in here. She's going to find Alyssa Petty, her high school teammate, at the key, and she runs into Anaya Sands, and it will be called a charge. She's trying to get a little bit of explanation from the official who says you ran into her, which is probably the explanation he gave. Ramaya Sanders handles the ball for the Cavs as they try to get something going here in this fourth period. Outside, almost stolen by Molly Brown. That was inside to Sanders, and she will convert on that underneath. And as I said, she is all over the court. Inside to Katie Farrell. Farrell spins underneath, and she's going to be blocked and hit from behind. And so she'll go to the line shooting two. Sanders has passed her season average as she has 19 points on the day. The next closest is Sarah Williams with 8, and that tracks based on their stats in the season as Katie Farrell makes her first attempt from the free throw line with 8 minutes remaining in this ball game, and she'll hit them both. Sands with the ball. Varela finds Sands again. She drives in. She's going to bounce it back out to Sanders. Sanders with the three-pointer. Yes, she did. She'll knock that one down. Walls over to Farrell. It's going to be tipped by Varela. Varela is going to recover it underneath the Sanders. That's going to be unbelievable. No call on that one. And Walls are going to come up with it. The fact that they didn't call a foul on Kaylin Walls, I guess because the ball was loose and they were both going for it. Their coach doesn't like it, but not raising too much fuss about it. Probably because it's 76-47, but either way, it's going to be Cavs ball on their own side of the court. As Sands takes this one from the top of the key, she's going to try to drive, going to have to bounce it back out, looking for somebody at the top of the key. Finds Roberts. Roberts over to Sanders. Back out to Sands. 2 seconds on the shot clock. 1. I don't think she got it off. She missed anyway, but she did not get that off as the Lions put enough pressure to have a shot clock violation. The fans are letting them hear that. Ellie Graham doing the inbounding. She's going to find Leah Stinnett. Back to Graham. Graham back to Stinnett. Trying to cross half court. She does. Over to Sydney Neal. Neal to Graham to Olivia Hall, who takes the three-point shot. Bounces around, no good. Recovered by the Cavs, but stolen immediately by Ellie Graham. She's going to be back up and blocked, but fouled. And that was about 12 seconds of back-and-forth basketball. And the result's going to be Ellie Graham for the Lions going to the line. Graham makes her first of 2. Misses the second. Rebounded by Alyssa Keener and the Cavaliers. Top of the key by the Just. Over to Keener. Lions putting a lot of pressure on them, especially outside range, but they can't find anyone open underneath. That's going to be the Just, and she's going to turn the ball over. It's going to be a shot clock violation and a turnover, but Ellie Graham's going to be doing some inbounding for the Lions after the turnover. Still with the full court press for the Cavaliers as Sydney Neal takes the ball and tries to break it, and she's going to get a little space to do so. Over to Leah Stinnett, and they just hug her. So some love on the court for Leah Stinnett, and she's going to be fouled on the hug. Inbound to Ellie Graham. Over to Ashlyn Plott, who misses that three-pointer. Rebounded by the Cavaliers, taken down court by Sands. Sands out to Sanders. Trying to find an open lane. She doesn't, but she shoots anyway. No good. Rebounded by Stinnett. Outside Olivia Hall. She's got a break. And no good, but rebounded by Plott and turned over immediately. Sands comes up with the ball for the Cavaliers. And she runs into traffic. They're going to find Sanders on the – she's going to take a contested 3. No good. Rebound Olivia Hall for the Lions. down court. They're going to try to slow things down a little bit as Leah Stinnett has the ball at three-point land. That's going to be Ashlyn Plott with a three attempt, and good, as Plott makes another one for Bryan. And that ball is going to be bouncing around and recovered by Olivia Hall. And now she's going to go down with an easy layup, and she missed it. That ball bounced around, and it's going to be twice recovered by Leah Stinnett. And I don't know what the call is there. They called it on Stinnett, but I'm not really sure why. I don't think that's a thing. But maybe she was putting a little bit too much body on a Cavalier. It's going to be Cavs ball, 80-47 Lions. Sanders cuts back and shoots. No good. Rebound Cavs. Inside underneath the adjust, and she will make good on the second chance. About the only one that just doesn't have a height advantage on the court is Ellie Graham, as Leah Stinnett converts on that low runner. Cavs quickly down the court to Keener. Keener underneath, tries the underhand back, kind of reverse layup, and blocked by Ellie Graham. Down court quickly, Olivia Hall, she's going to be back to Graham. Can she do it herself? She's going to be out to Plott. Plott with the open three, no good. Rebound Neal. Into Graham. Graham underneath and is fouled. Ellie Graham's all over the court right now. She's doing it from both ends. And she's going to go to the line. And before she does, we're going to have a timeout with 3:57 remaining in this ball game. 82-49 Lions. Right back. Lions Live. Back out of the timeout, we'll find Ellie Graham shooting two at the line. She hits her first. Misses her second, rebounded by the Cavs. That's Sarah Williams over to Sanders. Over to DeJust, back to Sanders. Sanders drives in, no good. Rebounded Lions. Sydney Neal ends up with it over to Stinnett. Neal at the top of the key over to Olivia Hall. Finds Ellie Graham in the corner. Inside to Ashlyn Plott over to Olivia Hall. A lot of ball movement, and it pays off as Olivia Hall is able to convert on that short little jumper off the backboard. And Trinity the Just will find the foul. Looks like it could have been on Sydney Neal. And we're going to see another 5 in for the Lions, possibly to finish this game as there's 3:12 left. Got Kelsey Johnson, Brittany Morrow, Sophie McIntroff, Ruby Cox, and Brooklyn Stinnett in. As that's going to be a race for the ball, and McIntroff's going to come up with it. As I said earlier, always sprinting, and she does again. That's going to be into Morrow, and she's going to be fouled as she goes up for the layup. So she'll head to the line shooting 2. And converts on her first. 32 fouls so far in this game for both clubs. Had a lot of free throw attempts, and she will make both of them to extend the lead to 87-49. That's going to be tipped by the Lions and tried to be recovered out of bounds, but going to be given back to the Cavs. But they're going to be tipped on the shot, and the Lions will take over. Kelsey Johnson taking the ball down the court. Over to McIntrough for the long 3, and she nails an NBA 3. McIntrough from almost the logo gets on the 90. Inside make by Sarah Williams. This group of Lions want some more shot attempts, so they're going to move down the court quickly. Out to Ruby Cox, who takes a 3 herself. No good. Rebounded, tipped by Kelsey Johnson to come up with by Morrow. Brooklyn Stinnett wants in on the action. No good on that 3-point attempt. Rebounded Johnson. Reverse layup, and I think she just wanted to be fancy there. And she got it. Sarah Williams inside for the Cavs. Going to be no good on that attempt. She wants the foul. Doesn't get it. Brooklyn Stinnett over to McIntrough. McIntrough into Cox. Cox, a little too quickly. Doesn't make that one. McIntrough steals it. I mean, she's a hustler. She's a hustler. It's going to be a foul as she tips it away. And so Montreat will take over at half court and inbound the ball. 1:38 remaining in this ball game. You could say a comfortable lead for the Lions at 92-51. And that's going to be a foul on Stinnett as Sanders goes in and makes the layup. So she'll go for 3 points here from the line. A little bit of inconsistency. I'm not saying that wasn't a foul, but it's kind of a coin flip on what is a foul and it isn't. And that goes both ways. I'm not saying they've been homered for the Lions at all. Both sides of the court have had some questionable calls. Brooklyn Stinnett takes that one from 3-point line. McIntrough wants another NBA 3. Doesn't get this one. She said she felt the first one. Might as well try for 2. That's going to be DeJust going down court. Misses that one. Rebound McIntrough. Over to Ruby Cox. She's got one person to beat. Over to Kelsey Johnson. Great ball movement. Great assist by Cox and conversion by Kelsey Johnson as we reach the 1-minute mark in this ball game. As we're yelling, na, 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 hey, hey, goodbye, and just a little bit lack of feel for the student section. That's kind of one of those things you reserve for maybe a top 3 opponent in conference, big game. Maybe it was a battle back and forth, and then you find out you got the win. Not necessarily in this situation, but you know what? Maybe you live and learn. You live, do you learn? DeJust misses her first free throw attempt. She will make her second as 46 seconds tick down off the clock. McIntrough with some spin moves down the court. She's going to find Ruby Cox outside for 3. She's going to come inside and get it and get a swat. So great conversion on the layup by Ruby Cox. Swatted from the back by a Cavalier. That was Bailey Winkler. And so Cox will go to the line with 32 seconds remaining, trying to make this a 97-point game. And if the Lions get the ball back, I'm going to guess you see a 3-point attempt as they hit that 97th shot. Everybody wants to get to 100. Sarah Williams down court. She's going to lose the ball, but recovered by the Cavs. Sanders going inside. She's going to have a runner. No good. Recovered by her own shot. Spin and good. So second chance conversion, 15 seconds. We'll see what goes on here. I'd say hold the ball. I wouldn't take the shot. Brooklyn Stennett, I think she knows what's going on. 4 seconds left. She does. Great move by Brooklyn Stennett to just dribble it out. Try not to get the 100. But regardless, huge victory by the Lions. 97-56 win for Bryan over the Cavaliers after a big start by the Cavs. It was all Bryan Lions starting in the second period, and they come out victorious. So stick around. 30 minutes. Join us again. We'll have Jordan Day on the broadcast for the men's game, and we will see you back here on Lions Live.